Hello and welcome to Algebra 1 CST release question numero ocho, number 8. It says, what is the solution set of the inequality 5 minus the absolute value of x plus 4 is less than or equal to negative 3? And so I'm going to do that one. Well, I'm going to just move this over to leave myself a little more room here to solve this one. So I'm going to rewrite what I have here to start. I've got 5 minus the quantity x plus 4 is less than or equal to negative 3. What I really want to do is get the absolute value part by itself. And so I want to get rid of the rest of this if at all possible. So let's see what I can do to make that happen. So I can subtract 5 from both sides. That gets me one step closer to getting this part by itself. I'm trying to get this standing alone by itself. And so subtracting 5 from both sides, that would cancel out there and there. I'd be left with a negative and an absolute value of x plus 4 less than or equal to, this would be negative 8. And so from here, I don't want this negative on the outside, I just want the part after the negative there. So what I would really need to do here, think of this as kind of an invisible 1 in front of there. If I divide both sides by negative 1, that's going to get rid of my negative sign. And so that'll cancel out here and here. But remember, when you multiply or divide by a negative with inequalities, you have to flip the sign around. So we have to change the direction that the sign is facing. And now this would be 8. And so you're thinking, okay, when is this here altogether, or what numbers after I take the absolute value of them would be greater than 8? So let's think about that off to the side here. So the absolute value of what number is greater than or equal to 8. So if I took numbers that are bigger than 8, so let's just check out some examples here. So if I took the absolute value of 8, that's going to equal 8. That would be a valid solution. So here I could have this being equal to 8 or greater than 8. So if I had the absolute value of 9, that would be equal to 9, and 9 is greater than or equal to 8. So that would check. So basically I could have anything here, this part right here, that when I put it all together, it could be anything that's 8 or higher. So this is one possibility. So we're going to have something or something over here. I could have that whole chunk together, x plus 4, could be greater than or equal to 8. Because after I take this all together, if I have something that's 8 or more in here, after I take the absolute value of it, it will be greater or equal to 8. Greater than or equal to 8. So we could have this, or, well, what would happen if I took the absolute value of, let's try some more examples over here, of negative 8? I would get positive 8, and positive 8 is greater than or equal to 8. If I took the absolute value of something that was less than negative 8, so negative 9, let's try that. That would equal positive 9, and positive 9 is greater than or equal to 8. And so the more negative I get, I'm still going to have a valid solution. So if this is negative 8 or anything less than negative 8 inside this parentheses part here, the x plus 4 part, altogether, if that's negative 8 or lower, after I take the absolute value of it, it becomes positive 8 or greater. And so this would be 10 greater than or equal to 10, or to 8, I'm sorry. And so notice, as I get more and more negative, it becomes still a valid solution. It becomes even greater than 8. Each time I go up, I'm going to have something that's still greater than or equal to 8. And so I could have this whole chunk right here, this whole part right here, being either greater than or equal to 8 or less than or equal to negative 8. This whole part altogether, if I have that being true, it's going to give me a valid solution to this inequality. And so I can have x plus 4, in other words, less than or equal to negative 8. So I'm going to solve these two things separately and see what I get here. So if I subtract 4 from both sides, I'm going to get x is greater than or equal to 4. Over here, if I subtract 4 from both sides, I'm going to get this canceling out here and here. X is less than or equal to negative 12. And so if I think of this on a number line, I think that's a good way to think about something like this. I've got, I'll put 4 over here, I've got negative 12 over here, I've got stuff that's or equal to, so I'm going to fill in those points right here, and I'm saying it's greater than or equal to 4, so it's going to go this way for x, or less than or equal to negative 12. I'm going to go this way for x for the other valid solution. So we can have this, or we can have this. And so this is a visual way to think of it. You can plug in anything for x that's 4 or bigger, or anything for x that's negative 12 or smaller, or less than negative 12, and you plug it back into here. You take the absolute value of that all together. It's going to end up being greater than or equal to 8. What is the answer? Which one matches up with that? That clearly looks like choice D is the one that matches up for number 8 with what we got. So number 8, choice D.